Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a story about a technology that could completely change how you think about electric cars, and a precious metal that the market might be, well, getting completely wrong.
Just think about this for a second. The one big thing holding so many people back from electric cars is the charge time, right? But what if that problem was solved, practically overnight? What would that do to the auto industry? And maybe more importantly, what would it do to the demand for one very specific and maybe very overlooked metal?
This quote, right here, is really at the heart of our story. What it's saying is that the price you see on a screen doesn't even begin to reflect the physical reality that's about to unfold. Okay, let's get into it.
So when you hear fast charging, you probably think of, bigger cables or more powerful charging stations. But the real breakthrough here, the secret to that single-digit charge time, isn't about brute force. It's about solving a tiny, microscopic chemistry problem that has been a thorn in the side of battery engineers for years.
Okay, so meet the villains of our story. They're called dendrites. I want you to imagine trying to jam electricity into your battery really fast. Well, when you do that, these tiny, sharp little spikes of lithium start to grow inside, almost like a porcupine's quills. They can literally poke holes through the battery, cause short circuits, and yes, there's serious fire risk. This right here, this is the single biggest reason you're stuck waiting 30, 45 minutes, or even longer at a charge.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. The solution isn't some brand new element that was cooked up in a lab. It actually involves using a very well-known precious metal in a completely new and, frankly, ingenious way. The secret sauce, it turns out, is a silver carbon layer inside the battery. It basically acts like a traffic cop for all those lithium ions, forcing them to line up and deposit smoothly and evenly. It just stops those dangerous dendrite spikes from ever forming in the first place. And once those are out of the picture, you can suddenly crank up the charging speed, getting to a full tank in under 10 minutes and doing it safely.
And this is the point that you really have to grasp. Silver is no longer just a little spice used for conductivity in some electronics. In this new kind of battery, it becomes an absolutely essential part of the recipe. It's not just helping, it's the very thing that makes the whole process possible.
All right, so that's the science. Now let's talk about the numbers, because the scale of this potential shift is where the story gets really dramatic.
Right now, an electric vehicle uses, say, tens of grams of silver in all its electronics. With this new battery technology, that could jump to hundreds of grams per vehicle. Now that is not a small increase, folks. That is a massive step change in demand from one of the world's biggest industries. By the way, if you're finding this explanation valuable, please take a quick moment to like, share, and subscribe to follow us. That way you won't miss any of the exciting updates we have coming up.
And you've got to think, this isn't going to be some slow, gradual change. The moment one major car company offers a true 9-minute charge, what happens to everyone else? I mean, if their car is ready to go in 9 minutes and yours still takes 30, well, your showroom suddenly starts to look like a museum. This could set off a complete cascade, a panic to secure the technology, and, even more importantly, the raw materials to build it.
And see, that creates a huge problem. Because while demand for a new technology like this can absolutely explode overnight, the supply of a physical metal like silver, well, it's incredibly slow to respond. You just can't update a mine the way you can update a piece of software.
I mean, look at this. You can't just code a new silver mine into existence. It takes a decade, maybe more, to find a deposit, get all the permits, build the infrastructure. That timeline is completely, totally out of sync with the speed of the auto industry.
And here's the kicker. The silver market is already tight. It's not like there's a huge stockpile of this stuff just sitting around. Over half of all the silver that gets mined today is already being consumed by industry. There just isn't a lot of slack in this system. So when a massive new buyer, like the entire EV industry, shows up at the door, it puts immense pressure on that existing supply.
So what happens when a huge new source of demand enters a tight market, where you can't just create more supply? Well, the only balancing mechanism the market has left is price.
And it's not even just a simple supply and demand story. You have other factors that could just pour gasoline on the fire. You could see the price for physical metal, the stuff you can actually hold, completely detached from the paper price you see on a screen. You could see governments restrict exports, and you could see big manufacturers start hoarding the metal just to guarantee their production lines keep running.
This quote just hits the nail on the head. For you or me, a huge price jump for silver feels expensive. But for a company that's building a $100,000 electric truck, paying a much higher price for a critical metal is simply a cost of doing business. It's completely survivable, Because the alternative, shutting down the entire factory, is way, way more expensive.
So in a real squeeze, the market sorts things out through price. The high-priority industries that absolutely need silver, like EV manufacturing or defense, they're going to pay whatever it takes to get it. And that forces the optional or discretionary users, people making jewelry or silverware, out of the market first.
And here is a really crucial takeaway from all of this. The big money moves quietly. The very first signs of a real physical shortage won't be some skyrocketing price on your computer screen. No, it's going to be whispers of delivery delays, rising premiums just to get your hands on physical metal, and quiet deals being made behind the scenes between the miners and the manufacturers.
And that leaves us with one final, and I think pretty provocative question to chew on. If this whole scenario plays out, the market's real warning signal might not be what people expect at all. And it really forces all of us to reconsider how we view this ancient, precious metal in a very modern and very demanding new world.